Welcome into Steelers Latest, your daily spot for all news and information related to your Pittsburgh Steelers. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content to stay up to date with everything Steelers. Let's get rolling as more details have emerged about Jalen Ramsey and the contract the Steelers owe him now. Um, the details were posted on the NFLPA's page. The Steelers will only suffer a $4 million cap hit. And also, during the negotiations, the Steelers had the Dolphins added an extra $3 million on top of their $4 million already paid to Jalen Ramsey this year, leaving the Steelers with the rest of the contract just under $20 million at like 19.6 million this year on the contract. So, the best detail about this, the key one here is that the Steelers have an out after this year. We're only guaranteed Ramsey's only guaranteed money this year from the Steelers. We're off the hook for the next three, not any previous years, but for the next 3 years, we're off the hook. So if Ramsey doesn't perform well this year, we can get rid of him. Or if he performs decent, but it's just not looking like he has that step anymore or that he could be approaching the back end and we're getting a little nervous that he could fall off a cliff soon. You can easily get rid of him without any pain whatsoever. You don't owe him anything in the future. But what I hope comes of adding Jalen Ramsey is that we can have a absolute shutdown corner for at least the next 2, 3 years. I think he has a little more to give in this league. I don't think his time's really calling anytime soon. I think this could be a decently long-term stand for Jalen Ramsey on the Steelers, and I hope he can be a key factor to this defense. And right now, he's looking like he might be the biggest role player on this defense next season. After bringing him in, the secondary really is going to depend on how he plays. So hopefully he can carry his end of the bargain. But if not, as I said, the Steelers are off the hook for the next 3 years. So you can always get rid of him, release him after this year, and not have to owe him any money in the future. Talking about moves, though, reports are now coming out from Mark Caboli on the Pat McAfee show that the Steelers are not done with moves. I was a little hesitant talking about trades previously to say they're gonna happen or that they should happen because I didn't know after the Steelers have gone out and made a couple big splashy trades in this offseason already. Very out of character. I didn't think we would see any more. But Mark Cavoli is reporting that the Steelers are still in the market in free agency and the trade block right now, calling everyone right now, making sure everything's all set to go, trying to put together the best roster. That's what I like to hear. We have shown that we're going all in. I think there's two positions we need to address. I've talked about them a lot. Wide receiver and safety now. After trading Minkah Fitzpatrick, I think adding another safety just for depth. I've talked about options. You got a four-time second team All Pro and Justin Smith just sitting around in free agency. In the wide receiver market, you got trades and free agency where you can go to. You got Amari Cooper, Gabe Davis in free agency on the trading possible trade market. You got Juwan Jennings. You got Chris Olave, a whole bunch of other names. Terry McLaurin. I mean, there's options everywhere here for the Steelers. If we're not done making the moves, if we really want to put together the best roster possible to carry an old veteran quarterback, you gotta address those teams' needs. I think those are the two where you can stare at the roster and you're like, okay, they probably could use a little bit extra help there. That would really benefit the team. Talking about the defense, though, let's move on to Cam Hayward. Cam Hayward, he was talking about appeared on the Rich Eisen show, and of course, Rich Eisen had to ask him how he's feeling about the whole TJ Watt contract situation and what he had to say. This was what his quote: "I hope this year is not the last year we played together because that dude, that's my running mate. We create a lot of havoc together, and absolutely they do. They are one of the premier upfront duos. I know you don't kind of associate them as the duo. You would kind of assume Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt are the duo since they're both on the edge, but Cam Hayward also part of that front line brotherhood we have there. Solid three that have been playing together for a long time now, a couple of years at least, 4 or 5 years at least now. All three of those playing together. It's it would be very tragic to see TJ Watt go. Cam Hayward also talked about the trade talks and how he would just shut that down. He would go into Omar Khan's room and tell him that ain't happening. He kind of said it in a joking manner, but I think he really means that. He and TJ Watt have a great bond, as I said. They've been able to form it over years now. Him and TJ Watt's bond goes back further than Highsmith and the other two. But him and TJ, we really need TJ. It just sucks right now because TJ, he's looking for a long term $40 million deal right now because he's getting up there in age. He wants it to be long term. And the Steelers, because he's getting up there in age, don't want to give him that amount of money or the length because you never know where the cliff when the cliff comes. You never know when it happens. So I can see both sides why it's happening. Steelers, I still agree with TJ Watt. I think he does deserve his money. He's given us so much. Do I think he'll be able to keep being the best defensive lineman in the league or edge rusher in the league? No, probably not. He probably can't hold that up till he's 35. I'm 36 years old, but would I love to see it? Absolutely. But I'm trying to be a little more realistic here. I can see him being the best pass rusher in the league, though, for the next 2 years. Like, I can still see him dominating up front. Just don't think he's going to be so terrible 4 years from now, though, also. Like, he might not be the best edge rusher, but I think he'll still be top 10 in the league for sure. Let's end this show on a positive note. We just got to figure out that TJ Watt situation, honestly, as a team, because it is lingering over the heads of everyone. And I think morale, probably on the defensive side of the ball, with some of the chemistry, is like probably going to be going down. The more this TJ Watt situation just clouds our mind, basically. But let's end on a positive note. Top 100 reaction. We're at number 70. We're through the first 30, 100 through 70. The Steelers have had two players appear on it. Number 83, Cam Hayward, up 15 from last year. Cam Hayward somehow only improves as he ages like a fine wine. Only improves, Cam Hayward. Um, yeah, I mean, he's just a dominant up front interior pass rusher. You know what? I've said it all about Cam Hayward over the past 3 months. You know what I think about him. I don't have to go over it again. And then number 75, Patrick Queen. And he started slow last year. The players of the league still think Patrick Queen, PQ, is a top 100 player in this league. Started slow last year, ended pretty strong. Was missing Roquan Smith for a little bit. Got a new running mate, though, in Peyton Wilson, who's going to be a stud in this league. And I think PQ is going to steady the boat a little bit more this year. And he's going to be starting the year off hot this year, hopefully. And then we can keep this moving on defense. Are we surprised that both our top 100 players were on the defense? Absolutely not. The defense was the only positive part of the team last year. I know there were a couple flashes with that offense. It was fun a little bit with Russell Wilson and his deep ball. But besides that, the offense was pretty horrendous. Do I think we get an offensive player on the top 100 before this ends? You might be able to sneak Mason McCormick, the rookie center, on there. He might be able to. He was graded the best center in the league last year from PFF. So there's always the possibility that he sneaks in. But once again, these two studs in the middle of the defense are why we're going to have a top defense, or just two reasons why we're going to have a top defense once again next year. But that has been it from Steelers Latest. I've been your host, Cole Dennis, and I will see you tomorrow.